entrepreneur. This is Jason Witherspoon.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, you?
Pretty good.
All right, and a little bit about Jason. Jason is married. Jason has 4 kids. Jason operates 2 businesses that he owns, and he also has a business partner. Now let's get to the questions. All right, and now for the first question. What motivated you to become an entrepreneur?
One of the biggest things that motivated me, I never finished college. So I was not a college graduate, so I didn't have any credentials to really get the job that I felt that I really deserved or worked hard for. I was working at several factories around town and realized that's not the life that I really wanted to do. So when I took up trucking, it was more of my, I found a passion in it. Also, I had 2 little girls at the time, and wanted to have, wanted to have a better life, not just for myself, but for them too. And that was pretty much one of the biggest things was, creating something different, based on the circumstances that I went through.
Okay. All right. And now for our second question. Jason, if you could go back, would you change anything that you did?
I can't really say I would change too much as far as business. I probably would have tried to learn a little more. Didn't take not a class for business. Didn't really seek a lot of counsel at the beginning.
Okay.
So it had its difficulties where trying to learn on the go versus already being prepared. But at the same time, it has that's probably made me who I am who I am today, from the difficulties of not knowing what I was doing and just jumping in head first and doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's definitely been an adventure.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. And now for the third question. What is like the main goal in what you do for a living, and like, did your goals ever change?
One of my biggest things that I tell everybody, in Proverbs 13:22, and I'm not going to go ahead and read it, but it talks about leaving an inheritance for your children's children.
Okay.
I feel like that's always been one of the biggest things in the reason why I work as hard as I do. It's not so much that I'm going to reap the benefits of it. I'm going to enjoy some of it, but when I leave this world is when my family and the children up under me are going to enjoy it. And then that's one thing I see in my grandfather, who was one of my hugest role models. When he left an inheritance for us to go to college.
Okay.
Now we could have used it. We didn't. We had to go to college in order to use it, but seeing that was one of the biggest things that sparked me to want to do exactly what he left behind.
Okay.
So the trend will continue.
Okay.
To continue to grow. I have 4 children, and if I go, I want to make sure they have something too, and then that their children will remember me.
Okay.
So.
Perfect. All right, and Jason, what is your story?
How we got started was me and my business partner Jordan Jarrett. He was actually my barber down at Tony's headquarters, which is no longer there. He was my barber, and I've always dibbled and dabbled in a couple little junk cars, and I'll sell them, fix them up, and sell them. And one day I told him, "Hey man, we can go buy this car. You want to flip it with me?" He was like, "Yeah, I want in." And so we went and we bought a PT Cruiser, and we bought it for I think $1,500. We fixed it up real bad, and we sold it to a young lady for I think $2,700. And the profit margin was so large that we didn't understand. I mean, we were just so excited. I think when we dropped it off to her in Battle Creek, and we laughed all the way home, and just out of excitement. But that sparked us to go and flip another car, and then flip another car, and then we got to flipping so much. I got in contact with a dealership that will let us use his dealer's license, and also got in contact with a wholesaler. So we were flipping right out of my yard, and one year we did over $100,000 in sales, and realized, man, we do really well together. And so I went on to, to fast forward, I went on to work for a trucking company, and I looked at the numbers that I was doing for the trucking company. I told them, I said, I'm not only dispatching, but I'm running my own truck. I'm doing everything, my maintenance and everything for it. I said, man, we can do this for ourselves. And long story short, we ended up purchasing our first truck. And it was tough for me at first because you're going from working for somebody to working for yourself. And the faith that you have to jump forward. And that was the part where it was hard for me to even understand the leap, because I'm secure by working for somebody else. I can just simply collect my check every Friday, and I never had to worry about nothing. And I was making good money. But after talking with him and sitting there going over numbers and everything, we decided to take the jump. And as many banks as we went to, we had the LLC, but we had no truck. So we went around Jackson, and we went to several banks just to get told no. Didn't have a business plan, didn't have nothing in place. It was just a hope and a dream. And to see that the dream actually came true with County National Bank here in Jackson, they gave us a chance, an opportunity. I remember the guy broke every rule to give us that opportunity. And a couple months later after that, we ended up purchasing another semi after starting the business. And then I think within the first 7 months, we were bought 3 semis. And after, with the 3 semis, we weren't even a year in business. And I guess that was one of the things that I realized that it was meant to be.
Okay. All right. And semis aren't cheap, are they?
They're not necessarily cheap, and they're not cheap to run either.
Okay.
Like I always tell everybody, they pay for themselves.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you work them right, they'll pay for themselves.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Appreciate that extra feedback, Jason. All right. And for the 5th question, Jason, how did you handle your failures, or what were or are some of your biggest problems?
I guess with the failures that I've had, I just realized that it's a learning curve in life. You're gonna fall down. The problem, the only problem is you have to just get back up. Because business wasn't easy. This wasn't the first time I've tried it. This is actually the 3rd time. So I've had failures all through my life. One thing I would say is I always pray, and I tell everybody, pray not only in the good times, but in the bad times. Because a lot of times in the bad times of whatever situation you're going through, it's the time that God is actually trying to tell you something. So you do your majority of your learnings in your toughest times. You know what I mean? People call them failures, but I call them like learning experiences. And I feel like that was probably the best things that actually happened to me were when I did fail, because I learned. And with the learning became, you become a better person. You understand now. You have to go about it some other way. Even in finances, you have to start saving your money. So learn a lot from the ups and downs of business. Definitely.
All right, good answer. All right, and these are just 2 questions that I came up with for you. Where do you see your business in 5 years?
Well, in 5 years, it's hard to project so far. Only reason why I say it is because I didn't see myself being having 9 semis in the 3 years of business. That was supposed to be 3 semis in 5 years. So I would definitely say I am getting, like right now, I'm actually getting ready to start a refrigerated part of our business. The J&J Auto Express is a car hauling company. So we are getting ready to start going to more box freight and refrigerated. So in 5 years, I would look to have both fleets running pretty much at the same capacity and probably doing more investing in our youth and other businesses, and traveling more.
Okay.
But the business will definitely be growing in 5 years. I would like to see myself with at least 20 trucks in the
Okay.
next 5 years.
Okay. All right, and within the next 5 years, do you still see yourself operating or making any more final improvements?
Yeah, yeah. I will. I probably will never stop operating the business. One thing you never get rid of it. I mean, once you own something, you always have your hand into it. I may not be working in it as much, but I want to always constantly work on the business. That way, it can steady progress. The moment you feel that you've made it, that's when the times change. And every year, every 10 years, something else changes. If not, it's happening even sooner now. Now we're going to electric semis, electric cars, and everything like that. So now we have to change with the times that we're living in. We're getting less truck drivers. So how do we sit there and change with that? You know, do we, you know, the older generation is, the baby boomer generations are all retiring. So now we have to start training more younger generations to work and stuff. And then the day and age that we're living in, the younger generation doesn't want to work as much. So, you know, so the next 10 years is going to be a learning curve. We're not going to be able to have the older gentlemen that we have on our staff.
Yeah.
They're going to be retiring.
Okay.
So I mean, it's tough to sit there and see where you're going to be in 5 years. I believe we'll have a training facility so we can start getting young men
Okay.
in trucks, so we can constantly continue to grow.
Okay.
Definitely. So yeah, I mean, even with the brokering company and stuff like that, we would like to be doing a lot more, not just cars, a lot more other types of freight.
All right, and besides business, what was your passion?
I like to have fun. Like I love to just hang out with friends, have fun, live life. I always tell everybody, live your life, enjoy life. You know, hanging out with my wife, we're going to work out and different things like that. She was an athlete, and so we play with the children. We go to the parks, and we try and work out together. I mean, so different things that we can do to have fun, to stay young, you know, and live. Definitely, that's one thing I always tell everybody: live your life, have fun with it. Definitely.
All right, and I just wanted to give Mr. Jason a special thanks for taking time out of his day to answer those questions. Appreciate it, Mr. Jason.
Not a problem.
All right, and is there any last things you would like to say?
I always like to tell everybody this quote and end everything with a quote. It says, "Do not go where the path may lead, but go where there is no path and leave a trail." And that's by Ralph Emerson. And just setting your own tone for your own life. Don't follow other people. Other people are going to discourage you. People are going to tell you it's too tough. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. I feel like whatever you put your mind to, you can do. You can achieve whatever goal you want in life if you sit there and create your own path. Go to the direction that you feel that is best for you.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.